Hey everybody, Coach Toolshed here, and today I just want to put out a quick video sort of discussing some stuff we saw last night with the Fallout 76 beta being opened on PC and the PS4. And, whoa, hold on, let me just take that back real quick, because on PC, you may or may not have heard, they had a major issue where pretty much everyone that I talked to had an issue where the file for the game got deleted off the hard drive when they went to try to play the game, and they were forced to reinstall the game, the entire game from scratch, which caused some people to not be able to even access the beta last night, or to only be able to play it for a very, very small window before it went offline. Now, as far as I know, Bethesda has said that they're going to extend the time on the next beta period, which will be Thursday here in the US. And so I think they're going to try to do that to help make up for the fact that some of the PC players were not able to access that because of that issue, which obviously is a major issue. If they're pushing out sort of updates or patches to the game and there's an issue where it's going to delete the entire game, I mean, obviously all your save information should still be stored on the Bethesda side of things, as long as that doesn't also get wiped somewhere along the way. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But obviously this is a pretty big situation, and hopefully that's something that gets straightened out. You don't want to see any updates that sort of make people reinstall the game entirely. Now, we've seen big patches that force you to have long install times, but you don't want to have the game just being deleted off your PC altogether. That's a little nuts. So, moving on, let's get into some of the fun issues that we had on the PS4 side. Now, for starters, let me say that the network itself seemed to run a little bit better than I anticipated. It was not quite as choppy, and the frame rate was not really holding steady, and it certainly was not running at a really high, constant frame rate. But it wasn't as choppy as I thought it was going to be. It was a little bit better than I anticipated. Now, it's still nothing special. It still definitely needs to get worked on, but it's something that was not as abysmal as I anticipated it to be. However, there were still issues like this. You just saw the T-posing enemy, which is something that we've seen in other builds of the game. And yes, in fact, this was a new build of the game. This had some other stuff that the Xbox beta did not have, such as the introduction of the Atom Store, which I'm going to get into a bit later on. But now let's enjoy a scene where you will see some of the most fantastic poppin' you will ever see, and it gets better. Oh, it gets better. I honestly cannot think of any time when I have seen this level of poppin'. Not what you're witnessing here. You're about to see it. It's about to come up, because this entire valley is going to appear before your eyes and then disappear and then appear. And that is a location on the map that you're supposed to go to for a quest. That is a location on the map. I've never in my life seen this. Never. Maybe you have. I've never seen pop-in quite like that. And that goes without just talking about the other texture issues that has been more present in this version of the game. It certainly does not look as crisp or as colorful as the Xbox version, which is to be expected. I mean, this is a weaker piece of hardware, but the texture and the pop-in, this is a major problem. And this is, if that doesn't show you everything you need to know, I mean, honestly, if you have seen worse than that, let me know. I've never seen anything that looks quite like that. Now, in addition to that, you still had a little bit of lag and the frame rate drops, which I sort of alluded to earlier. And there's also something you might notice over the next couple minutes in the video. There's some sort of weird effect going on with the God rays, where it's creating a cloud or sort of a fog effect on the ground, and it doesn't look right at all. It might be sort of difficult for you to tell, but in real time, it really had this odd sort of like a ghostly aura to it, depending on which way you would look at it, and the shadowing all looked really, really wrong. They definitely need some work on it. It's something I've never seen in Fallout 4 on PS4, so it's odd that you would see it here. I'm not really sure what exactly is going on with that. And then, of course, you still got issues like this, where you have everything lighting up like a Christmas tree as you get closer. This sort of thing is still going on. This is stuff we saw in the earlier build of the game. I have footage of this from earlier in one of the other beta periods where the same thing was happening to me in a different location. So this is still an issue. once again, this is something that I've never really seen in Fallout 4, so I know that they're using basically the same engine, so I'm not really sure why exactly we're seeing these sorts of issues pop up now. Is it just the online that's causing that sort of issues? I don't really know. I'm not really savvy enough tech-wise to know what that is. But here you see, again, some of the weird, if you notice, some of the fog effects just don't, this is really actually just the God rays coming through, and it's making this weird fog effect, which is just has these really bizarre shadows. It's kind of difficult to tell. You might not be able to see it necessarily, but it really looks bizarre when you're watching it in real time. Now, aside from sort of these graphical situations that I just pointed out, there was also some serious technical things that we need to discuss as well, such as missions not completing once you've done the final step in them. Now, I ran into a couple of missions that didn't complete when I actually finished them. It took a couple of minutes for the game to acknowledge that I had completed them, and I would be doing something else several minutes later, and my rewards would appear out of nowhere. So there was a definite delay with that. And more importantly, I ran into a quest that seemed to be bugged, which was a similar type of situation that was going on. It just wasn't registering that I had completed the final quest, and it wasn't clearing off my quest log. It wasn't being completed. I completed the final step multiple times. It just wasn't working. This is something I hadn't experienced quite yet in the beta, and it seems to be a pretty big issue on the PlayStation version of the game right now. In addition to that, another pretty serious issue seems to be that perk cards are not being put into inventories when they're supposed to be getting in there. So if you notice, every time someone levels up, whenever you are supposed to be awarded a card pack, it will, give you a little notification on the screen. You'll get a little, hey, little Vault Boy pops up, and it will let you know that you just got a card pack. However, my card packs for me were not appearing in my inventory until well after I hit level 5, and I only got one card pack when it did finally show up. So I'm a couple card packs in the hole, and I did talk to a couple of the people in the comments that told me that they were also not receiving the card packs every time they were supposed to receive them. So that's a pretty big issue as well if people aren't getting these card packs, especially early on in the game, because as we know from what Bethesda described as when you're going to be receiving them, once you get past level 10, you're only going to be getting these card packs every 5 levels. So if you're missing out on those, foundational card packs, that's kind of an important thing at the beginning of the game where you don't have enough cards to go around. So that is something that definitely needs to get looked at. Now, I want to get into something else about the Atom Store. Now, I have not really discussed the Atom's currency to this point because I didn't really see it to be necessary until we saw what was going to be available in the store. I just looked at it as something, just another form of virtual currency. Then last night I saw that the store had finally gone live, and I saw something in there that put up a little red flag at first, and I want to discuss this because I think I might have misread this. Now, as we all know, Bethesda has said repeatedly that only cosmetic items will be available in the store. So when I saw this last night, I said, wait a minute, this looks like it's not cosmetic. This looks like this is an item you can use to get water in your camp, purified water. However, I think it's a question of which way I read this. If you read this as clean water purifier, that's a little bit different than clean water purifier. Do you see what I mean? So essentially, this is probably just a skin for a water purifier that will give it a clean appearance. Now, I think I misread this last night, and when I discussed it with some people late last night, I think I know I had mentioned to a few people that I had found an item that was not a cosmetic item, that was a gameplay item that you could use, and turns out I think that I misread that, so I just wanted to clear that up to anyone that I had that confusion with. I know I talked to a few different people about that last night. Just wanted to clear that up. I think that I misread that, so that's getting that out of that way. Now, that's pretty much all I wanted to discuss with the beta from last night. Obviously, a pretty severe issue on the PC side of things, and some pretty severe problems on the PS4 end as well. Now, some people said that they didn't have any issues. Okay, that's fine. I'm just showing you some of the stuff that I had issues with last night. Some of them gameplay related, some of them graphically related. But obviously on the PC side, that was a much more severe issue where the game just completely uninstalled itself. So anyways, tomorrow I'm going to be switching gears and going back to Red Dead Redemption 2. There's something I want to discuss about with that game and sort of games in general. So that's going to be the topic of my next video. So I'm Coach Toolshed. Let me know what you guys think about the Fallout beta last night. Did you guys get in on PC? Were you able to play it at all? What about on PS4? What issues did you run into? Let me know what you guys encountered last night. And anyone who is still playing on Xbox, let me know what you guys think. And I know a lot of you have already written off the game in general and saying, Coach, stop talking about it. Well, tomorrow, going to be taking a break and discussing Red Dead Redemption. So, a little bit of a reprieve there for you. But anyway, I'm Coach Toolshed. Let me know what you guys think. Please subscribe if you want to stay in tune with the channel headed forward. And as always, keep it turned to 11.